cronies, how are you doing? Well, today is the 25th of March when I am recording this, and it happens to be Tolkien Reading Day. Now, as some of you know, I am a bit of a Tolkien fan, so I thought I'd read an excerpt from Return of the King. The theme this year is fellowship and companionship. So I'm going to read a part from the Battle of Pelennor Fields, where Merry and Éowyn confront the Witch King. But Theoden was not utterly forsaken. The knights of his house lay slain about him, or else mastered by the madness of their steeds were borne far away. Yet one stood there still. Durnhelm, the young, faithful beyond fear, and he wept, for he had loved his lord as a father. Right through the charge, Merry had been borne unharmed behind him until the shadow came, and then Windfola had thrown him in his terror, and now ran wildly upon the plain. Merry crawled on all fours like a dazed beast, and such a horror was on him that he was blind and sick. Kingsman, Kingsman, his heart cried within him. You must stay by him. As a father you shall be to me, you said. But his will made no answer, and his body shook. He dared not open his eyes or look up. Then out of the blackness in his mind he thought he heard Durnhelm speaking. Yet now the voice seemed strange, recalling some other voice he had known. Begone, foul Dwymerlake, Lord of Carrion, leave the dead in peace, a cold voice answered. Come not between the Nazgul and his prey, or he will not slay thee in thy turn. He will bear thee away to the houses of lamentation, beyond all darkness, where thy flesh will be devoured, and thy shriveled mind be left naked to the lidless eye. A sword rang as it was drawn. Do what you will, but I will hinder it if I may. Hinder me, thou fool! No living man may hinder me. Then Merry heard all the sounds in that hour, the strangest. It seemed like Durnhelm laughed, and the clear voice was like a ring of steel. But no living man am I. You look upon a woman. Éowyn I am, Eormund's daughter. You stand between me and my lord and kin. Be gone, if you be not deathless, for living or dark undead, I will smite you if you touch him. The winged creature screamed at her, but the ring wraith made no answer, and was silent, as if in sudden doubt. Very amazement for a moment conquered Merry's fear. He opened his eyes, and the blackness was lifted from them. There, some paces from him, sat a great beast, and all seemed dark about it, and above it loomed the Nazgul Lord, like a shadow of despair. A little to the left, facing them, stood she whom he had called Durnhelm, but the helm of her secrecy had fallen from her, and her bright hair, released from its bonds, gleamed with pale gold upon her shoulders. Her eyes, grey as the sea, were hard and fell, and yet tears were on her cheek. A sword was in her hand, and she raised her shield against the horror of her enemy's eyes. Éowyn it was, and Durnhelm also, for into Merry's mind flashed the memory of the face that he saw at the riding from Dunharrow, the face of one that goes seeking death, having no hope. Pity filled his heart, and great wonder, and suddenly the slow kindled courage of his race awoke. He clenched his hand. She should not die, so fair, so desperate. At least she should not die alone, unaided. The face of their enemy was not turned towards him, but still he hardly dared move, dreading lest the deadly eyes should fall upon him. Slowly, slowly, he began to crawl aside. But the black captain, in doubt and malice intent upon the woman before him, heeded him no more than a worm in the mud. Suddenly, the great beast beat its hideous wings, and the wind of them was foul. Again it leaped into the air, and then swiftly fell down upon Eowyn, shrieking and striking with beak and claw. Still she did not blench. Maiden of the Rohirrim, child of kings, slender but as a steel blade, fair yet terrible. A swift stroke she dealt, skilled and deadly. The outstretched neck she clove asunder, and the hewn head fell like a stone. Backward she sprang as the huge shape crashed to ruin. Vast wings outspread, crumpled on the earth, and with its fall the shadow passed away. A light fell about her, and her hair shone in the sunrise. Out of the wreck rose the Black Rider, tall and threatening, towering above her, with a cry of hatred that stung the very ears like venom. He let fall his mace. Her shield was shivered into many pieces, and her arm was broken. She stumbled to her knees. He bent over her like a cloud, and his eyes glittered. He raised his mace to kill. Suddenly, he too stumbled forward with a cry of bitter pain, and his stroke went wide, driving into the ground. Merry's sword had stabbed him from behind, shearing through the black mantle, and passing up beneath the hauberk, had pierced the sinew behind his mighty knee. "Eowyn, Eowyn," cried Merry. Then tottering, struggling up, with her last strength she drove her sword between the crown and mantle as the great shoulder bowed before her. The sword broke, sparkling into many shards. The crown rolled away with a clang. Eowyn fell forward upon her fallen foe, but lo! The mantle and hauberk were empty. Shapeless they lay now on the ground, torn and tumbled, and a cry went up into the shuddering air and faded into a shrill wailing passing with the wind. A voice, bodiless and thin, that died and was swallowed up and was never heard again in that age of this world. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that as much as I did. Gotta love Eowyn and Merry. They make the perfect tag team, the perfect fellowship, because they both together, they were able to defeat the Witch King, which also fulfilled the prophecy by Glorfindel that the Witch King could not be killed by man. And no, he wasn't killed by man. He was killed by a hobbit and a woman. So there we are. A little bit of Tolkien Reading Day. Have a beautiful day today, and it's looking a bit grim out where I am, but hopefully now that the spring has come, we can all get out a bit more and enjoy ourselves. Take care, look after yourselves. My Tago.